This episode of the Walt podcast is brought to you by Spotify for podcasters. You want to make a podcast? Spotify's got a platform that lets you make one super easily, then distribute it everywhere and even earn money. I am a long-time podcaster. I've been podcasting for a long time, since like 2009 or something like that. And Spotify for Podcasters is easily the easiest podcasting platform I have ever used. Not only is it easy, it's also completely free. And you can actually make money on this thing by putting in ads just like this. It's awesome. Spotify for Podcasters lets you record and edit podcasts right from your phone or computer. So no matter what your setup is like, you can start creating today. I'm recording this while sitting on a toilet. Then you can distribute your podcast to Spotify and everywhere else podcasts are heard. Once again, it is totally free. Download the Spotify for Podcasters app or go to www.spotify.com/podcasters to get started.
Ant-Man, the Wasp, and their family find themselves exploring the quantum realm, interacting with strange new creatures and embarking on an adventure that puts them against their most powerful foe ever, Kang.
Welcome to the Walt Vault with Andre,
Michelle, Emily,
And Luis.
We are a family-friendly podcast where each and every week we watch and review a different Disney movie. Be sure to subscribe on all podcast platforms and YouTube. Enjoy the show.
Hello and welcome to the Walt Vault episode 194. Podcast baby is in the building. Yeah, hello. There are adults in here as well. You guys alive?
We are alive.
Hello. What's happening, y'all?
Apparently, it's just me and Andre. Hello, everyone. Everybody is actually here.
What
wow.
up?
There we go.
How unhelpful. Thanks, guys.
What
There we
up?
go. Hello. We're alive. We're here. We're only
I'm not
slightly
here.
distracted. This week, we are talking about the 2023 live action.
Did it just come out this year?
About this year.
Holy moly.
Like January, right? Or February?
Do I have the release date at my
Was it
fingertips here?
January, February,
I
March?
believe it was. It was February 17th. The movie is Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania.
We went to go watch this one in the theaters, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
With them?
No.
No, I don't think we went together. We only saw like one movie together recently.
It was... What did we see? We went to the movies together. I remember that.
There was a picture. There's picture evidence. I don't remember what the movie was.
Was it
I don't know. We almost got shot in Riverbank, remember?
Oh,
You don't remember?
What?
no.
What are you talking about?
The fight break out? I didn't see no weapons.
What?
I don't remember that at all.
Louise, tell me about the crazy stuff that went down in
Remember you were
Riverbank.
driving down the wrong neighborhood? And then cop pulled out of nowhere. I was
That's
like,
right.
I
Yeah,
told
you're
y'all.
right. Yeah.
I told y'all, just watch, something's gonna go down. And
It
then
was-
sure enough, like 2 seconds later, that cop
Yeah, I
rolled
remember
Out of nowhere, here comes the Poe.
It was en route to the theater, not at the theater.
Yep,
No danger at the theater.
none whatsoever.
This movie stars
You talking
Paul
to the
Rudd,
microphone like this?
Evangeline Lilly, and Jonathan Majors as Kang,
Kane.
the Conqueror.
The Conqueror, Kang the Conqueror, which we knew at the end of Loki season 1 that we would see again.
Exactly. He was He Who Remains.
Yeah.
But this
That's
is a
right.
different this is a variant of that Kang. The Loki Kang was afraid of the Ant-Man Kang.
Yee.
It's
Exactly. Louis, I should have asked you if you have a question.
No, you shouldn't have.
Not even about Mbappe? No question about Mbappe. Okay.
Well, we got questions about Mbappe.
Nothing. Watch him.
Because he's got Mbappe questions. I don't
I
know.
don't have Mbappe questions.
All right. No Mbappe questions. So let's go ahead and go into our first impressions.
Good idea.
Luis, I'll start with you. Did you guys see this in the theater as well or no?
We literally
you
just
just
talked
said that.
about
We
that.
won't
I think
you
we
guys.
did. Oh,
You don't remember?
we're gonna excuse my mom brain for a second. Luis, what
You were
did you?
driving, dude.
That's correct. What did you think about this movie?
I liked it a lot. I thought that the tomato meter and was Dumbo meter.
Indeed.
You know, I thought it was way better than the actual percentage they gave him.
Off the top of my head, I can't remember what it was, but I do remember it being
It was
super
like
low.
40 or 30 something.
I have this number in front of me. It is actually
53.
46%.
Oh, that
on
is
the
really low.
46.
That seems too.
quite low.
Wow.
The audience score is 82%, which seems
All right.
That's a
more
lot better.
up my
Yes.
alley.
Yeah, interesting. Okay.
Okay.
Andre, first impression?
First impression of Ant-Man and the Wasp. I think that this is my least favorite Ant-Man movie, but it was still a good movie. I enjoyed it. It's gorgeous. There were good performances. I really like Jonathan Majors as Kang, and but I think taking it away from the real world, or not the real world, the regular Earth, and taking us completely into the quantum realm. That's where like 95% of this movie takes place. It's just not as fun as like the heisty, low stakes Ant-Man movies that we've had before. I think I don't know, just like there's some really cool sci-fi.
There's less shenanigans.
Right, there's some cool sci-fi concepts happening here, but they're not cooler than Truth Serum from the last
was heck
movie.
of
You
fun.
know?
Oh my god.
That was great, but Drink That Ooze just wasn't quite hitting as hard for me in this film.
Yeah.
But overall, I enjoyed it. It's got one black thumb, you know.
Oh my gosh. Emily, first impression?
I kind of am in the same vein. I liked it for, like, it was good. It wasn't great. And similarly, I didn't think the funnies were super funny. They were trying real hard with Bill Murray, and he was just kind of like, whatever. Like, I didn't really see the point in that whole exchange. And I don't like, oh my gosh, maybe it's me, but I don't like the young kids attitude thing, you know, like Hawkeye's little girl hitter and girl hitter. What am I saying? Like the
Girl Hawkeye and
girl Hawkeye and
young
now
girl Black Widow and
oh God, well, she's fine, but this one is Cassie is annoying and I don't know. There's a couple cool characters, but overall, it was kind of meh.
right.
Kind of meh.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you. I honestly think if it wasn't for like the Kang the Conqueror
He was
story,
good. Oh, and Janet was annoying. Ugh.
being embedded.
You know what though? She was good looking, so it kind of evened out.
Oh
So.
my
I did enjoy Michelle Pfeiffer in this movie.
I didn't say anything about the way she looked. I said she was annoying. The character was annoying.
Sure, her actions I
Right.
can see.
Yeah, so I liked it. But yeah, it doesn't have the same humor as the first Ant-Man movies. And I do think if it wasn't for Kang the Conqueror, I wouldn't have liked it as much. So I tried to gloss over the fact that we're in the quantum realm. Some of the details either got lost. Some of it was cool, but it's like we're doing all of this world building kind of for what? You know what I mean? Like, where are we going with this? Are we going to go back to the quantum realm? I don't really need to.
I hope so.
That's
I
a-
You know what
hope
I mean?
That's a good
not.
question.
I hope not. Excuse me.
I don't need to.
Not.
I mean, the ending of this movie kind of it definitely doesn't like beg for like more adventures in the quantum realm or anything like that. Like I think all of the characters are quite traumatized by this place and don't have any desire to go back down there. But yeah, maybe we will see the quantum realm again in some other Marvel film.
Yeah.
Because I feel like the Kang in this movie that supposedly dies at the end, I think he's gonna find a way out. I don't think he's gone forever. Even though we saw a whole bunch of other Kangs, I think that this Kang is the bad guy of the MCU.
Well,
going
and it's
forward.
going to confuse me. I'm going to need some explanations on that. Like, where'd the Loki Kang go? Is he dead?
Yeah,
You know?
and honestly, I have trouble wrapping my head around a lot of this multiversal stuff as well. And I hope that future movies do a better job at explaining it or making it clearer for modern audiences. But yeah, it's odd. It's confusing.
It's good.
Are we skipping to the end? Because you're.
I am discussing the end, but we can go through the plot just to catch everybody up to
And the
to
plot
speed.
thickens.
So the movie begins, and we see Janet Van Dyne hanging out in the quantum realm. She's talking to some dude that just crash landed out of nowhere, and this is like our first look at Janet living in the quantum realm, which she did for
And
like 30 years.
This
which
was
is
in
still
the
crazy.
70s.
Janet and Hank were Ant-Man and the Wasp in I think the Vietnam era.
Yeah. Okay.
Back in the day. So she's down there. She helps Kang out, and then we jump back to the present, where Scott Lang is. This is all post Endgame. He has written a book about himself.
Which is a book you can buy, and that's killer.
Hilarious.
That is funny.
At least we got some humor.
And
you know what I mean?
You could actually buy that book?
You can
Yes.
buy
You
it.
can
It's
buy
a
the
real
book. It's a
book,
real
yeah.
book. That is.
How?
I don't know how long it is.
It's real.
How?
Go
Wait,
Barnes and
I
Noble.
should read it. I should buy
Dude,
that
you
book. and
should
read it.
read it. How is that
yeah.
a real book?
I'll report back on that in
I'm
a
mad
couple
at
episodes. Let's see here. So he
Why do I send y'all memes if you're not going to read them? You don't remember this whole post I sent on this book?
I remember.
I remember too. But yeah, I've been looking to buying it. I should do that. I got to hear all about how Scott saved the world, which he tells people constantly in this movie. He's like, I don't know if you guys remember, but
Thank
I'm kind of
you,
an Avenger,
Spider-Man.
and I'm kind of responsible for all of you being alive.
And I won't lie, he did.
He did.
He did.
He did. You know?
He did.
Doesn't get enough credit.
Right.
No.
Well, he's trying. He's trying to get the credit out there.
He's pulling it.
Put his face on the front of a book.
Spider-Man.
Thank you, Spider-Man. So, it's not getting across to everybody. But that's okay. He is being well-renowned. He's giving high fives to little kids as he walks down the street, and he's singing songs. He's very jovial. He's happy right now. But
Yeah, he's not in jail. He's
he's
cool.
not in jail, but his daughter is. Cassie has been arrested because she has become quite the little activist in Scott's absence. She tried to help people who were being displaced. There were a bunch of homeless people who lost their homes in the blip, and the police were trying to destroy their homeless camp or whatever. So she went in there, shrunk a cop car, and just caused a ruckus, and
Which was kind of funny.
ended up in the joint, which has happened before. This is not her first rodeo in jail. Scott is upset by this, but his girlfriend Hope, who is now running Pym Industries by
Dude,
herself,
Hope is legit, man.
she is just
With a haircut. Okay, her
Yes.
hair is so sick.
absolutely.
That's what I want in my life.
That is what her hair looks like in the comics. It was very cool.
Oh, is it?
Uh-huh. That Hope
Pixie
got to have that.
Wixie.
That's right. Pixie cut for the Pixie girl.
For the Wixie.
Pixie for Trixie.
For the
Wasp.
Waspy.
For the Waspy Wasp.
Hope doesn't seem too perturbed by Cassie's getting arrested. She's like, you go, girl. In fact, the rest of the Ant-Man family, which includes Hank Pym, the Janet, who has just returned from the quantum realm, and as well as Scott and Hope, they're all just kind of like, yeah,
no
she
big
went to
deal.
jail, but,
They're like,
we're
whatever.
all kind of superheroes, dude. I don't know what the...
And she's like,
the
Dad,
problem
you
is-
used to go to jail too because you were cool.
Right.
And he's like, come on, stop it.
We need to have a family meeting about this. So Scott has missed a lot of Cassie's life, and he's trying to make up for it, but she can only handle
Difficult.
so much of him. While they're visiting with Hank and Janet, Cassie shows them this radio that she's been working on. It's a radio that can contact the quantum realm. Apparently, she had tried to talk to Janet about the quantum realm and get some updates because she's been researching it ever since her dad went missing 5 years ago, and she's become quite the little scientist herself. But Janet never wanted to talk about the quantum
Heck
realm.
yeah, she got PTSD, man.
She was like, I was down there for
So,
30 years.
think so.
I'm trying to live in real world life stuff and not tell you anything about what went down now.
See, I can't with that. Like
you don't like that she didn't tell him what went down down there?
yeah. Like,
She got PTSD.
It's one thing to be like, hey, down there, I was cheating on you with Bill Murray. And
yeah, like, I get that.
You can keep that buttoned up, but maybe you should tell them about this multiversal threat dude.
Like, come on.
that, yeah.
But I think she's feeling guilty because she ended up helping him in his pursuit of conquering.
Which, I mean, I get that, but at the same time, she understands the stakes, what it means to be like alien. Yeah.
And if he were to get out,
Yeah.
which is basically
true.
what's about to happen, because
And she
Cassie's-
knows that.
Right. She should have at least warned them that there's something down there that we need to
Right.
keep inside. No more contact with the quantum realm. She could
You
have
know
at
what
least done
though?
that.
What throws me off on this one is
Luis found a
if you
loopy.
recall, they were already going and with the messing with the quantum realm.
In the previous
Yeah, so
Ant-Man and the
that's a
Wasp
flaw.
film.
If you ask me, how could she be so uptight about all this, but yet they're still going into the quantum realm?
I think in that instance, in the last movie, Ant-Man and the
They
Wasp,
were
in
getting
in
like the
post-credit
matter
scene-
to help Ghost.
Yes, exactly.
Like-
And I think the rationale that I read was that wasn't like the full quantum realm. That wasn't like the portion that Kang controls. It's like a more like upper level or something like that. You know, like
The atmosphere.
yeah. It's the upper atmosphere of the quantum realm where he wouldn't be able to reach them or something like that. But yeah, you're right. It's a little hand wavy and doesn't make too much sense.
That's one thing that was like, wait a minute, come on, y'all.
Right. So Cassie's turning on this radio. It's sending a signal down to the quantum realm, and Janet freaks out, tries to turn it off, and it explodes and sucks them all right into the quantum realm by shrinking them all down to itty bitty size.
Smaller than that, bro.
It not only sucks down all of them, Hank, Janet, Scott, Hope, and Cassie, but also all of Hank's aunts. They also make
I was
their
about
way
to say,
down to the
dude,
quantum realm.
how many kids did his mom have? They sucked up all his aunts. And were they all girls?
Luis loves
Jennifer
that.
and Jessica and
Luis loves that commercial.
but the
Is that a
aunts-
Geico commercial or Progressive or
Something like that, yeah.
Some car insurance.
I love ants, Scott. So they get sucked down there and they get separated.
Michael Douglas and his aunt?
They get separated. Hank, Janet, and Hope fall in one spot, and Scott and Cassie land in another spot. The ants land in a completely different spot.
And I forget about them. Sorry.
Right, and you are meant to forget about them until they make their triumphant return towards the end.
Which as that happened, I was like, Emily, I don't like that. She don't
I
like
did not like it, and I also
Anytime there's something
didn't
like that.
particularly get it, but that's fine. We'll get there.
Anytime there's multiple creatures creeping on each other, I'm like, oh, Emily don't like that.
And it did that multiple times in this movie,
Well,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's
there's,
Ant-Man.
there's a whole lot of creatures hanging out.
including Ant-Man.
in this film. Right. Including Ant-Man and the many Ant-Mans that he forms. So,
Even though it was funny.
Cassie and Scott get stopped by all of these warrior-looking people who kidnap them and start chanting at them in a foreign language.
Something
Something like that, basically.
Pretty much, dude.
And
That was hella funny.
Cassie gets some red goo on her mouth, and she's like, "Wait, no, Dad, you can drink the stuff." And
Drink the ooze.
they-
That weirded me out. I'm not gonna lie.
a weird creature vomits into Scott's mouth, and then suddenly he can understand everything that everyone is saying. They're saying, "Drink the ooze, drink the ooze."
It's literally so weird.
It was weird, but they were a welcoming community at first. They wanted him to drink the ooze, and it allows him to understand him. And then a crazy creature named, I think his name is Veb, talks to him. He's like, "How many holes do you have?" Apparently, that gooey creature, the ooze man, is the same guy from the last two Ant-Man movies, who is like the Baba Yaga. That guy played this goo creature. So he got to be in all three Ant-Man movies, but he got to play a completely different character in this one.
So he's the truth serum guy.
Yes, the truth serum guy.
Interesting.
I had no idea until this morning when I was watching the
That's pretty
the
legit.
making of documentary of this movie. And yeah, he was in there. He was doing mocap. He was counting holes. He was getting holes. It was fun for him. He had a great time.
That character was super weird.
The character was odd, but it did get a couple of laughs out of me throughout. They also meet a mind reader, and he's just reading.
I like
Scott's
that guy.
mind.
Where have we seen him before?
He's on The Good Place.
Have you seen that? The Good
No.
Place?
The sitcom? No, I'm not sure where else you've seen him. Then that's his big.
Wasn't he
His big
like
show.
No, that wasn't the Comedy Central guy.
No, his name
No, he's not like a comic.
is William Jackson Harper. He plays Chidi on The Good Place. Has he been in any other
That's where I
stuff?
know him from.
He was in Midsummer. He was in Patterson. He was in Dark Waters. I don't know what any of these things are.
Okay, I
Yeah,
guess.
yeah.
I guess I don't know him.
Right.
It's fine.
Anyway, he's a mind reader. He helps kind of guide them and let them know that these people have been
They know-
subjugated by him. They just keep calling him the guy, the man, the dude up there, the conqueror. He came in, he destroyed all their homes, their culture, their stories. He really messed them up, and now they're basically all refugees just trying to survive in a conqueror-ruled world. Cassie is immediately on her activist game. She's
Of
like, we have
course.
to help these people. And Scott's
I'd be like, I'm trying to get the
we
F out of
just
here.
got here. We're on
Yeah.
an alien world that is beneath our world. We need to go home.
So and maybe this is a me problem, but like it's hard for me to see humans in this realm. Like
Like the mind reader dude who looks just like
him
a regular guy.
and the Cherokee gal.
Yes.
Like
Bill
aliens.
Murray too. Like
Yeah.
he's completely humanoid, yet he's like is estranged by their ways.
Like
Right. He is
Like,
not
what is
from Earth. I don't think any of these.
They're all from the
They're
quantum
all
realm.
from the quantum realm. And so, like, I think that's one of the problems that I have with the quantum realm in general is that, like, there's a lot of cool stuff introduced here, but, like, scientifically and logically, like, make it make more sense to
yeah.
me.
It's like they just like threw ideas at the wall. And then we're like, okay, so what do we want to go with?
Broccoli guy, ooze thing, buildings that move, and
I hate those buildings. Okay.
Broccoli guy was
Oh,
ridiculous.
I would prefer the broccoli guy over those houses.
and we're gonna drink squids, and yeah,
It was a lot.
It's a lot. And yeah, so your mind while you're watching it is kind of just like, okay, so that's interesting, and that's weird, and that's
And I'm a
weird.
light
That's
bulb
it,
head,
yeah.
which I liked the light bulb head guy.
Right.
But that's
the
why I was
spotlight.
saying they did a lot of weird world building with not enough context. You know what I mean?
Yes, I don't think they gave enough context to
They were like,
to
we're
the
gonna
world that
make
they were
this
building.
crazy,
Right.
but then
like I understand that there's weird stuff down here, but then why is there also regular looking stuff down here? You know?
yeah, like Star Wars, there's regular stuff and weird stuff. But we don't think it's that weird because it's world building.
Right.
Not that I can compare that really, but
Yeah. I think they should have given like the more humanoid character, like the Bill Murray and this mind reader Cheetah guy. I think they should have given them some kind of just like one
Yeah, a
interesting
thing,
facial
a
feature
thing.
to differentiate them from regular humans. You know, but you know that was neither here nor there.
Like make him look like Spock or something. you
Right?
know?
Yeah,
Like,
give them some ears.
Something.
Give them something just to show that they're aliens and that they weren't accidentally shrunk down like 50 years ago or something like that. You know, I don't know what's going
Honey,
on.
I Shrunk
Right.
the Kid style.
Right. So Scott and Cassie are dealing with these refugees. Hank, Janet, and Hope are up above, and Janet is like, I'm back in my element, baby. I know exactly what to do here. We're going to get a ride on a flying dragon thing, and then we're going to meet up with some homies. I'm going to fight them, and then we're going to get some
that
help.
didn't look like a dragon. That was like a
moth.
like a stingray.
Yeah, a manta ray.
That was weird.
This alien quantum creature. They ride that.
And I love how she knows that she's gonna like she goes in there to fight, but also sweet talk. Like I get it, but she again, Janet's character is so annoying to me. Like she couldn't have filled them in at all.
on any of it.
Like any
None
of
And
it.
they're asking her questions throughout. They're like, honey, what's going on? Like, what are we doing here? How did you know all these? How do you know how to
And
do
I
all this stuff?
can't-
She's like, I'll tell you later.
I just can't tell you because I want to try to protect you.
Right.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
is annoying.
She's doing a very Spider-Man 1 thing. She's like, I can't.
Oh my
I can't reveal
gosh.
my secret identity. My enemies will hurt my family or whatever.
Well, stop
No.
having uncles and aunts, man.
No.
So they make their way to a bar. They go through a city. They see the broccoli man.
No.
Hank is very impressed by all this. He's like, "Wow, this is gonna change everything we know about evolution and mankind and our place in the universe and stuff like that." And holy crap, that guy looks like broccoli. Can't believe it. They make their way into this bar, this very very Star Wars cantina style bar. They meet up with Bill Murray's
Which was
character.
also kind of like you couldn't have come up with something different.
Yeah,
I know.
I mean they put
Like, why do you have to be a cantina? Why couldn't it be a,
There's bars everywhere.
why couldn't it be like a,
Make it a Mexican restaurant
No. Why couldn't it be like
with
a,
like booths and stuff.
like a farmer's market or something?
right a lounge, a piano
Bazaar.
bar. A bazaar. Yeah, it definitely could have been a market outside.
I don't mind a bar.
They go in there.
I mean, I like bars, but still.
Hope and Hank drink some ooze so that they can understand all the languages being spoken. They just order it at the bar. They don't have to get vomited into. Janet,
Must be nice.
Janet meets up with Krylar, who apparently was a radical back when Janet lived there, but now he is Lord Krylar and works for the Conqueror. They have a chat where it is revealed that they used to do all kinds of stuff together. They were partners, and they were business partners. They were
partner
lovers.
partners.
They were doing it all. It was a long time, and the lady's got needs. Okay, Bill Murray will have to do. He's the most normal looking dude.
He's the
down
most
here.
humanoid one down here.
I'm not messing with the broccoli guy. Okay.
That's so funny.
So Bill Murray throws that in Hank's face.
I had needs.
And then Krylar eventually ends up ambushing them with goons. They fight them off. Hope is ready to throw down. She's got her Wasp gauntlets ready to start slapping fools.
I think it's hilarious. I realized that Hank never put wings on the Ant-Man suit.
No, never.
No.
He was like,
You did it on the Wasp, though.
Yeah.
well, the Wasp always had them, but
Because isn't it that only female ants have wings?
maybe. But I just thought it was funny.
I
Like,
think
I
that
mean,
might be
there's two
why.
separate species of bugs, too, so.
Right. Yeah. I mean,
Wasp and an ant.
I guess if that's his logic, he only
biologically correct,
Right.
apparently.
We're not doing none of that. No wings on the males.
Majority of ants are wingless. Certain times of the year, they become a common sight.
The winged ants.
I don't. Yep, only some of them. I don't know why though.
I get. In his mind, he just wanted to ride on a flying ant, but the wasp can fly under her own power, no matter who she is, Janet or or Hope, but not Cassie. Cassie does not get any wings. Not sure why, but we'll get to that later.
Well, she's not a wasp.
Yeah,
she's an ant girl.
Yeah. They fight their way out of this bar. They steal Krylar's ship.
Oh my God.
Hank has
Dude,
to
his
drive.
hands.
The
They've got an
controls are
ooze
weird.
issue in this movie.
All the technology is very goop based.
Yeah, I don't. Why is there so
It's all
much
liquidy.
Jello?
It's really gross. He sticks his hand into these two buttholes and then is able to fly this ship
Ew,
around.
don't say it like that.
For reals, though.
Chili's two butthole.
He takes off and they rocket up out of there. Pew!
It's more like two soggy lips.
Well,
I think it is at around this point that we flash back to Janet's time in the quantum realm where she meets Kang. So he had crash landed. She just saw, a dude that needed help, and he ended up, saving her from some monsters or whatever. So they formed a little partnership, and he tells her that he is from the future, and he has
this is
the
actually one of my
technology
favorite parts of the movie.
to save the world and stuff like that. And I think they spend, if not many months, like a couple of years together rebuilding his ship and trying to get him to be able to save them and get them out of there. So they become pretty close during this time. The whole time he's being just a nice fella, just a nice, smart scientist fella, just trying to get back to the future, baby. Can you just help me out, pretty please? And she's like, sure, oh my God, you're such a nice man. Once they complete his, I think it's called a multiversal engine, I think is what it's called. Once they complete the repairs on it, and he puts it into his chair.
Which is beautifully constructed.
It's very
like,
cool looking.
They did a very good job on that.
Yeah, I think the production in this movie looks really good between the special effects and like the practical stuff that they've got going on.
Well, and is his suit pretty similar to what it looks like in the comics?
Yes, this is a very comics accurate suit. Like in the comics, Kang has like a blue face, which they replicate with like the mask coming down over his eyes, and then his scars are also part of his face. In the comics, they just look like blue lines, but in this they are scars which light up when he uses his powers, which is very interesting. So yeah, I really.
Well, and his
I really
eyes
like
too. I liked that. That was
his
cool.
Eyes turn blue. It's cool. So this engine powers up his ship, which allows him to put his suit back on and regain a bunch of his future powers. Basically, he's wearing an Iron Man suit, but if Iron Man created his suit in like the year 3000. So he powers that up, and then he reveals to her hey, actually, I'm a conqueror, and I've conquered many worlds. Oh, actually, he doesn't tell her this. She sees it when she touches the ship because it's attached to his mind and attached to his thoughts, powered by his thoughts. So she sees all the worlds he has conquered, destroyed, the people he's killed. He's killed like trillions of people at this point because he is a master of time and different universes. She sees all this. She's like, whoa, what did I do?
He's Thanos on a level.
Yes, extra Thanos.
Right.
Thanos times infinity, So
The Infinity War of Infinity Wars.
right, she sees all this and immediately detaches the engine from the ship.
Which is, Luis and I think, a major issue later.
Okay.
With that comment. He's like the Thanos of Thanoses.
Thanos times infinity.
How does he know Thanos?
No.
No, it's not related to Thanos. So I have a theory.
Like, if he's really that powerful, how does the ending happen? But go ahead. We'll continue.
Right. Yeah. Oh, I understand that. Yeah. Let's keep going. So Janet decides in this moment to basically betray him in his mind. She takes the engine out, throws it into the dirt, and then enlarges it with some PIM discs so that he cannot use it to power his ship. But even just with him...
So she has PIM discs and she can't just PIM disc herself?
Which is exactly how Scott got out in Ant-Man 1 of the Quantum Realm. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
She doesn't have a suit.
So I think she does have her suit because when she originally got sucked into the Quantum Realm, she was wearing it.
But that in this particular movie she can't because she doesn't have the suit.
Maybe it got busted up at some point on her.
Well, we know that the suits can get busted up.
Because I think when we see her at the end of Ant-Man, no, in Ant-Man and the Wasp, when they're rescuing her, she has like a wing sticking out of her back. Or something. So the suit is at least partially there. Maybe it's not functional to grow and shrink and stuff like that.
And here's the deal. She doesn't have the tech to be able to use the enlarging discs to get out.
Right. That was like the...
that was like afterward tech.
Yeah, that's something that Scott was tinkering with in the first movie, and that's why he was able to use it to get himself out, I think. That's
they were tinkering with the
justification
idea
for that. Yeah. She did not have the technology, and let's assume that her suit was
My
was
theory
busted.
is the suit's busted. She can't.
Right. Otherwise, she would have been like up and down and a little bit more.
She would need a portal, literally, not go up the other way.
Right. So she used the disc. It enlarges the engine, and Kang is like, ah! And Janet escapes and hangs out with the refugees for the rest of her time there. But Kang, just with his suit now, he is able to build an entire empire in the quantum realm, to completely take it over, wipe out all these people's culture and history, like we said before, and be the ruler. He is the conqueror, and he has conquered.
It looks like the inside of the Matrix movie. What was that, like the third one or something? Second or third?
The Machine City or whatever.
Yeah.
So he is the Quantum Realm's new ruler. The Langs, meanwhile, Scott and Cassie, are hanging out with the rebel leader, Gentora, who is a bodybuilding Amazon-looking lady, who's also in The Mandalorian season 3. I don't know if you've seen her yet.
We have not.
Okay. Let's see here. The rebels soon come under attack by Kang's forces, led by MODOK, who is a hunter.
G.
I want to know what you guys thought of this, because it's fascinating to me.
I totally forgot about MODOK, dude. It's absolutely terrifying.
So, multiple things here. Number one, I said there was no funnies.
Yes.
Well, or that the funnies didn't hit. This hit.
It hit very hard.
This hit me.
I was dying at MODOK.
Multiple reasons. Number one, I did not know MODOK was in this movie.
So you know of the character MODOK?
Yes.
Yeah, because I remember you talking about MODOK when Addie was watching
Mm-hmm.
the Avengers,
one of the
Avengers cartoons, where I was like, I have no idea what you're talking about. A floating head.
Pretty much.
MODOK is a
And so
crazy
when it showed his little body, before you saw anything, I was like, "Oh my God, MODOK's in this movie!" And then obviously,
and then his mask comes up. And we see his crazy-looking enlarged face, and he starts talking, and the characters are like, "Darren, Darren Cross from the first movie. You were the bad guy that shrunk people and turned them into little globs of goo."
What is up with goo in this?
It's a quantum realm thing.
But that was goo in the regular world.
They love goo in Ant-Man. So yes, apparently when Ant-Man fought Darren at the end of Ant-Man 1 and shrunk his body down into his suit,
I wish everyone got to see you do that.
He imploded
Ew.
and winded up in the quantum realm, and his body was just completely messed up, jacked up, quantified or whatever. While he's down there, he meets Kang, and Kang is like, I can use this weird little butt boy. And he builds him this hunter suit and turns him
like
into
a Bjorn.
MODOK.
Dude, that was so funny.
Oh dang, what is the acronym?
Machine
only designed mechanized organism designed only for killing.
MODOK.
Yeah, he tells that to Scott. He's it's actually MODOK. So funny.
I really also like that they're not mean to him, but they're also not nice to him. They're like, no,
definitely not. They're like, oh, Darren.
And every person who sees him like, oh, I think my favorite one was freaking, what's his name? It's
Michael Douglas.
Michael Douglas, yeah. Hank. His name's Hank.
Yeah. Hank.
Hank's
Or Henry.
Like,
Where's Henry come from?
Is Henry
It's Hank Pym.
Hank is short for Henry. It's like
it's a William Bill thing.
Yeah, it's a William Bill thing. It's
Dick Richard.
It's a Dick Richard. Yes.
Hank
Henry
is short for Henry.
Yeah.
Literally one letter away. How is that short? Who was lazy
it's one less syllable.
the day that name was created?
A lot of those are like 2-syllable words names that they. Anywho, regardless.
My name is a short name, but at least Lou is shorter than Luis.
Right, and
True
Hank is shorter than Henry.
By one letter.
Luis was so mad. He was
like, why do people named William go by Bill? That don't make no sense. Hank and Henry don't make no sense either.
Luis is
It's not
dumbfounded.
William, it's Billiam. Okay? Billiam. Get it right, Metatite.
100 though. He was my favorite. Was like, Darren.
At one point, Scott is looking at him and he's like, I just noticed your baby legs. He's like, I don't have baby legs.
And he has like a little butt. It's too much.
And in any other circumstance, you kind of would think Darren would just fly off the wall angry, but like MODOK wasn't really angry. He wasn't really defending himself. It's just like, it is what it is.
He has fully embraced his new position as like lead hunter for Kang. So he's the main henchman.
Which is hilarious because he's not very good.
No, he fails every time Kang sends him out in this movie.
No, he's
pretty much a
in this movie,
stormtrooper.
but before he's
Poor
the
guy.
most feared mechanism out there, man.
Sure. That he's probably the one destroying all their living buildings or whatever. So Scott and Cassie have been captured by MODOK and are now talking to Kang from jail cells. Kang introduces himself. He's like, "I'm Kang the Conqueror. Scott Lang, I've heard about you. You're an Avenger. Are you one of the ones that I've killed before?"
I like how, and he does it here too. "Oh, I'm an Avenger. You might have heard of me."
I just called all the other Avengers. He's like, "Are you the one with the hammer?" No, that's Thor.
I was waiting for him to be like, "Are you the one that turns green?"
Right, yeah. So Kang has fought and killed so many Avengers that his presence is basically not important to him at all. Except he does know that Scott has Pym particles, and Pym particles is what he needs to get his engine back down to size. So he enlists the help of Scott. He tries to make a deal with him, saying, "Hey, I won't kill Cassie in front of you if you just go shrink back down this thing so I can use it to get out of here." Scott, is easily swayed by Cassie, and he agrees. He goes out to where the engine is, which is basically like surrounding the city. That's how big it got. He goes to like the entrance, shrinks down into it, and then the weirdest scene
and shrinks and shrinks and shrinks and shrinks.
The weirdest scene in the movie happens, where Scott is in a place that the engine is affecting, where every decision that he has to make generates another Scott. So every time he's
I literally hate it.
That is hilarious.
Every time he's like fight or flight.
You think it's hilarious?
Another Scott.
Yeah, I thought
appears.
that part was funny.
And they all start talking to
Imps
each other.
can't stand that type of stuff.
Eventually, there's so many of them that they look like a group of ants.
Yes.
He truly is Ant-Man. All of him. He is them. He is the ants. They are him.
It was cute to watch Paul Rudd's face do so many weird things because he did a good job acting it. Like as an actor, he did a good job differentiating, but I hated it until freaking Baskin
Robbins
Scott came up and I was like,
the Scott that didn't get fired, okay? He appears.
It is pink and blue, man. It's so good.
He is there helping.
Because he's so happy-go-lucky.
No.
It's so freaking cute.
So all of these Scotts are trying to get up to the engine so that they can shrink it down, and they're having trouble because he can't make a single decision, and more Scotts just keep appearing and they keep messing with him. But once they all agree on the fact that they're here to save Cassie, they all coalesce and start going after one single goal, which is, we have to save Cassie, we have to save Cassie, we have to save Cassie. They start climbing up on top of each other, getting up close to the engine.
Doing an anthill.
And making an anthill and acting just like ants in a hive mind kind of situation, which is pretty cool. It's at this point that Hope and Janet and Hank find their way to the engine. Hope goes in and does a very similar thing where she multiplies and has a singular focus to help Scott, and them two together are able to shrink the engine down for Kang. They do all that. Let's see here. And then what else happens? So they acquire the power core. Kang, however, reneges on the deal. He captures Janet with MODOK, destroying her ship with Hank on it. We think Hank is dead. And then they get rescued by the ants. And we have a very silly explanation that the ants...
Yeah, this was like, oh, God.
The ants shrunk down at a different rate than everybody else did. So they got there like hundreds of years before Scott and Janet and Hope and everybody.
I hope everybody knows I'm rolling my eyes so hard that I gave myself a headache.
She's rolling hard. The ants then evolved, developed a technocratic society where they built technology and used it to further their goals and wait for Hank. And then once Hank appears, they're able to use his like talking to ants signals to find him and help him out and save him from the ship being destroyed.
I mean, I like the ants coming in to help. Yes. I dig that, but like
cool.
I just hate.
You don't want a whole ant society?
Whatever on the ant society, but like they at a different rate and all that. Like you're trying real hard there.
Multi-years, multi-generational.
Like if some of them, if like Janet had aged exponentially, or Michael Douglas or whomever, then it would make more sense to me. But like nobody else.
It
aged.
It didn't happen with the humans. It's an ant thing, you know.
Okay.
You gotta be an ant to understand it.
When you get sucked in last, you go faster.
That's right. If
I
you're
don't
fast,
know.
You're fast.
I don't know. It was a lot for me.
It was very silly, but I did enjoy the ants being in the movie.
Yeah, the ants coming in and saving them were pretty good.
So Hank helps Scott and Hope as they make their way towards Kang, because now they're on a mission to stop him from getting out of the quantum realm. Cassie rescues Gentora, the Amazon lady, and they commence an uprising against Kang and his army. Cassie has also gotten her suit and is learning how to use it and stuff like that. She is a mini ant woman basically at this point. You have the pacifier, sir. We're trying to podcast. Excuse us.
I need to wash it.
Come here, sir.
During the fight, Cassie convinces Darren Cross to switch sides and fight Kang, with him eventually sacrificing his life. Which
I won't even lie, that was also silly. Like
it was so stupid. At first, he's like, you guys, I've been such a dick.
that was.
I can't believe it.
Oh my god.
And then he like sacrifices himself, and
he was so evil in that other movie, like
right,
evil.
straight up evil. Killing men in the bathroom.
Like you're seriously gonna tell me that he just
Killing 500 goats in the pursuit of getting this suit off
and
the
he's
ground or
just
whatever.
gonna change his mind? I that's just unbelievable
Now
to
he's
me.
a good guy. At least I died an Avenger.
That was funny though.
That part was hilarious.
He's like, Scott, you were always been a brother to me.
He's like,
have?
I was.
I was, yes. Just saying a bunch of ridiculous things, but a very silly, very funny end to this character that I literally can't believe got to come back in this movie.
It was a good way to introduce that character.
The MODOK, yeah. I don't know if MODOK would have worked in any other context in the MCU.
Like him being like on New York City streets would have been too much.
Right, it would have been crazy. It would have been crazier than anything that happened in like Multiverse of Madness. Like it's just a buck wild character, and I'm glad they put him in a comedy, and I'm glad he got to have some comedic moments.
And as Darren, that was actually it was good.
Right.
They did it. They did it right.
So they are now fighting Kang. Janet fixes the power core as she, Hank, Hope, and Cassie all jump through a portal home. Kang attacks Scott at the last minute before he can jump back into the portal. And before he can beat Scott into submission, Hope returns. She and Scott throw Kang and the Pym particles into the power core, which destroys them both. And he kind of gets sucked into himself, kind of just like Darren. So hopefully Kang comes back in a little MODOK suit in the next movie.
Which I'm not. That's a major source of contention for me as well.
Right.
Like Ant-Man is not strong. Like no offense, Scott, but you are like the least Avenger of Avengers.
Right. He's literally the smallest.
Like,
Avenger.
well, regardless of his size, he's not. I mean, I guess he's smart enough, but like, he's not a good fighter.
Right.
He's not strong. Mm-hmm. He's not fast. He's not trained. I don't know. He's just like the least.
Sometimes he's not even that brave. You know, sometimes he's but in this moment, as he's getting just pummeled by Kang, he says to Kang, "I don't have to win. I just have to make sure you lose." Right. So he kind of makes the sacrifice play to get Kang to die. But thankfully, Hope comes back to the portal and is able to grab him and toss Kang into the power core.
And truthfully, at which point I'm like, okay. I mean,
sound good. Looks good.
We don't. I kind of was like, all right, well, we don't really need them.
Right.
Like that sounds mean, but like, all right, good ending.
Not needed.
I would have been okay if he would have definitely stayed there too.
Yeah, so hoping.
I mean, we're phasing everybody else out. Like, okay, bye.
Right. We got Cassie. She's getting the hang of this Ant-Man suit. I guess we'll be fine. But no.
Why not? We have all these other teenagers. Might as well just be teenage.
Yep, the young Avengers. They're gonna make their appearance at some point. But no, Cassie reopens the portal for Scott and Hope to return home. And Scott comes back, welcome back, starts playing again. He's happily walking down the street. He's chilling. He's happy. He's good to go. And then he begins to rethink what he was told about Kang's death.
Which is this part, actually, I liked.
Being the start of something terrible happening. He's like,
Because again, he has that cute little face. He is a good actor. He's like, oh.
He's very charming.
He never ages.
Yeah, he was hella panicking.
Kang said if he didn't get out that everyone would die. And he didn't get out. Does that mean everyone's going to die? And it's my fault? Nah, it's all good.
It's all good.
It's like the same trick that Luis takes where it's like hella doom and gloom and he's like, nah, but I got to keep the van.
Right, yeah.
Nah, my parents got deported.
My girl left me.
My girl left me.
Right?
But I got to keep the van though.
My girl left me.
Yeah,
I missed him.
So all of this very last scene in the movie where Scott is walking down the street, he's rethinking things, and he's like, nah, I guess everything's fine. And they go and they have a birthday party for Cassie, even though it's not her birthday because he's missed so many birthdays or whatever. And it's cute. I think this is an Andre.
And it's been one. Oh, go ahead.
This is an Andre theory. I think that they have returned into a different multiverse, and only Scott remembers what the other universe was like. I think. I don't think that this Scott is in the main MCU universe anymore. I think that he's returned and is in something slightly different, or just that Kang getting half destroyed or half not getting out or whatever. I think that caused a new multiverse to be created, and that's where Scott is right now.
We got way too many multiverses going on.
Right.
Okay?
Like I said, it is kind of confusing, and I don't know how they're going to make any of this apparent in the future, but I am excited to see where it goes. Oh, my baby's standing up.
Oh.
Good job, mister. But anyway, that's just what I think. We go to
There was a pretty good couple cutscene type things on this one.
Yes, there are two post-credit scenes. The first one,
I always call them cutscenes. Go ahead.
We see the Council of Kangs. Right? They have been alerted.
That's creepy.
They have been alerted to the presence that this main Kang the Conqueror, is dead.
Which, hold on. Have we seen this before, or was this just alluded to at the end of Loki?
It was alluded to at the end of
But
Loki.
we didn't actually see it.
He Who Remains said that all the Kangs had a multiversal war that they fought with each other, and he was the one who stopped it by making the main timeline.
Right.
But now, since that main timeline is gone, all of these Kangs can get together again and hang out and ball out.
So,
But that's-
go ahead.
That's
Lou.
what he who remains says, but then our Kang in the quantum realm is the one who says, I was the reason why they have not fought.
He Who Remains says that this Kang the Conqueror, is the one that they were all afraid of, that the Council of Kangs really feared.
And he was the one who really... I don't know. They're both saying, I'm the one who controlled everybody.
Right. And
Right.
it's hard to disagree with either of him because he is him. You know? I don't know how to believe him or them or him.
So who is the one who trapped him down there? The council?
Council.
Yes, the council
Yes.
banished him.
Okay.
And now they're meeting again because they've got word that he's dead and they can pursue their own ventures or whatever. So we got Pharaoh Kang, we got Cyborg Kang, and we got, who's the last one? Immortus. They commiserate Kang's death and plan their multiversal uprising.
The Grimace Kang.
Right, yeah. Purple Kang. All these Kangs look weird, and I like the Kang the Conqueror look the best. But there's, hundreds of Kangs in this council, in this arena of Kangs.
So are we assuming then that the council are like the 3 or 4 of them, and then all the other ones are just like
Cannon
just
fodder.
random? Yeah.
I think they're all part of the council. I think, but these 3 are like the leaders because They've
reminds me of
they
the
got the
council.
most style.
The Council of Wells in the Flash.
Right. Yes.
Oh, there's all those wells.
Yes. And also in Rick and Morty, there's the Council of Ricks, where just a whole bunch of multiversal dudes get together and start planning everything for everybody.
All right.
So that's cool. That's interesting. The next two Avengers movies are both supposed to be centered around Kang. One is called Secret Wars, and the other one's called The Kang Dynasty. So I assume that we'll get follow-ups to this in those movies, if not in earlier things. Oh, and in the second post-credit scene, we get a teaser for Loki Season 2, where we see Loki and Mobius, Owen Wilson, wow, hanging out in an old timey-wimey place, probably in like the 40s or something like that. And they're seeing...
Oh, I was thinking it was way earlier than that.
Maybe in like the 1800s.
1800s, I was thinking.
They're seeing a show. And
Which, didn't we see something like this in Loki?
I
No.
think... No?
I don't think so.
You
Sorry.
Just
Not
wake up
this
with
kind of
him
time period.
looking out the window, and it's a statue of Kang.
Right.
It's
No, but okay.
Grimace Kang.
Right, that Kang has taken over the TVA at the end of Loki Season 1. But this teaser shows Loki and Mobius seeing a show, and it's a guy presenting his scientific theories, and it's Kang with a mustache. Deep in disguise, or whatever. They encounter another Kang variant. His name is Victor Timely on Earth in 1901, is what this says.
Okay.
And that's it. That is the end of Ant-Man.
So here's my question then, and we might not know this answer. So is it like a Kang disguising himself in the time period?
I think so.
You know what I
think
mean?
He's just doing time travel. He's doing Doctor Who wonky
Okay.
weird stuff. You know?
So he knows he's from a different timeline
yes,
and was either pruned and or went to a different timeline
I think.
and is blending in.
I think since Kang has like complete mastery over time travel, he probably does stuff like this a lot, where like he'll show up in a timeline, assume a character, and then do stuff to manipulate things so that they happen in the future in his favor.
Sure.
And since he has unlimited time, he can do this as many times as he wants or needs to in order to achieve his goals.
Sure.
So I assume that we'll see a lot of different variants of Kang
Sure.
in Loki Season 2, doing a lot of this timey-wimey stuff, and Loki and Mobius having to thwart his timey-wimey plans.
Sure.
But I don't know. I haven't read anything about Victor Timely. I assume it's something from the comics. But
Do we assume also that each of them has their own thing? Like,
Yeah. I
like
think
King
so.
the Conqueror was like, for example, super strong or whatever. Like they're all obviously very smart, but like not all of them are going to be super strong or super
Right.
whatever.
I think they probably all are capable of developing technology to enhance their powers. But yeah, some of them are choosing different power sets. I think that's accurate based on the Cyborg Kang versus the Pharaoh Kang.
Yeah.
You know, I think those guys obviously went in different directions with what they can do. I assume.
I want to see Pharaoh King come up in here and like whoop some Pharaoh Sphinxies or
Right,
something.
Yeah, he's gonna pull up he's gonna ride a sphinx, and he's gonna lay locusts on people and stuff like that. He's gonna do some biblical stuff. Yeah, so I don't know what the future holds for Kang. I am excited to see more, even if I think Kang was probably one of the best parts of this movie. I really enjoyed the performance and the character.
He is a good actor.
He's
I
very
like
good.
this guy. We saw him
Unfortunately,
in something else recently, and now I can't remember what it was.
You guys watch Creed?
No.
No, something else.
What else was he in? Lovecraft Country on HBO?
Nah.
Devotion, where he was a airplane pilot?
Airplane pilot.
What else?
I don't know.
Okay, maybe not. What is wrong with
I
me? I
thought I
keep
did-
thinking I know these people.
He's in a Western called The Harder They Fall
Nay.
on Netflix. He's been in a lot of stuff, but those are the big ones. I'm not
Okay.
sure. I'm not sure. The Last
So-
Black Man in San Francisco?
No.
That's a movie.
And it's him.
I'm holding out. They done got all of us. I'm the last one. I haven't seen the movie. I don't know what it's about.
I feel like we need to.
Now, unfortunately, Jonathan Majors is kind of embroiled in some controversy right now.
Oh.
There are allegations against him that he has committed domestic violence against the partner that he was like living with or whatever. He's claiming that he's innocent, but no real details have come out. Like she didn't like write like a expose or anything. She just brought up the charges. So I guess he's going to go to trial for that and come out one way or the other. It does not seem like Marvel is planning on recasting him or anything like that, though. I think they're going to rock with this dude because he is really good as Kang. You know, it is going to be upsetting if it comes out that he's guilty in that. Unfortunately, though.
Well, especially like what we just saw what happened with what's his name?
Mr. Kevin Spacey. Is that who you're talking about?
No, I was talking about Ezra Miller, but
Oh, right, yeah. That whole other guy. Another
No, I believe that guy's crazy.
canceled dude. Right.
what happened with Kevin Spacey?
Well, Kevin
He got
Spacey,
acquitted.
Yeah, he was brought up on charges of sexual assault. That he was like, assaulting
Like
young men.
young men, yeah.
Back in the day, and he just got acquitted of all those charges. He's walking away scot free. But the stories that were coming up about the assault at the time were pretty damning. So I think he's still basically canceled in the eyes of entertainment. But he might start getting some jobs again. Who knows?
I don't want to see him in
Right.
nothing.
I would prefer not him to be in stuff. But we'll see what happens with Jonathan Majors. But for now, it seems like he will continue to be Kang, and hopefully continues to do a good job of it. Coming up in Loki season 2 later this year, I believe. So that is it for Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. As we mentioned before, it has a 46% on the Rotten Tomato meter. It is certified rotten. The critics' consensus says Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania mostly lacks the spark of fun that elevated earlier adventures, but Jonathan Majors' Kang is a thrilling villain poised to alter the course of the MCU. The audience score, like I said, is 82%.
Who wrote that? The critics?
So that's a consensus of what the critics have said. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I agree with that.
Right, I agree
but
with
it's
it
not
too.
like a 46%.
Well, not a 46, like maybe at its lowest, like a 70 or maybe like a 65. I would say. The audience.
That's not a 46% consensus.
That's based on 404 critics' reviews. The audience consensus says the plot's a bit of a mess, but overall, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania starts Phase 5 of the MCU with a colorful, creative thrill ride that will leave you wanting to see much more of Jonathan Majors as Kang. And I agree with that as well. So let's give some ratings. Lou, what'd you think?
I'd give it a solid 8.
8 out of 10. Sounds good. Dear, what about you?
7.5.
7.5.
7.
A 7 from Emily, and I think I'm going to give it a 7.5 as well. This movie, it is enjoyable. I don't hate watching it. There's fun stuff. There's funny stuff, but it's not as good as the other Ant-Mans. And I really miss the heisty type nature of the films. Like I feel like we could have incorporated some of Scott's more thiefy, sleuthy type skills into this a little bit more. I also read a trivia fact that this is the only Ant-Man film not to be co-written by Paul Rudd. Apparently he co-wrote the first two, and I wonder if that's partly affecting the lack of comedy in this one.
Yeah, they could have like hijacked another plane and done that.
Right. And had a cool little falling in a briefcase.
It didn't have to be the same song,
Right.
but like,
There were definitely more imaginative things happening in the other one. Well, more fun imaginative things happening. There were a lot of imaginative things in this one, but they were weird. And I didn't necessarily like all of them, So yeah, that is Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. Let us know what you thought of the movie. Did you think it was better than 46%? Somewhere right around there? A little bit higher? I'm not sure. Let us know in the comments on our Instagram post. We are at the Walt Pod on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And we are now on Threads. I made a Threads profile for the Walt Vault, and I wrote one or two thread tweet thingies. Go there. You can ask
is this the
questions.
same thing I was asking? What is that?
Yes.
Okay.
It's Instagram's Twitter. And also Twitter is now not Twitter anymore. It's called X.
Is it?
It's called what?
Elon Musk changed the name of
Are
Twitter.
you kidding
It
me?
is now called X.
I thought he was just
Force.
They
half
changed
the
the
stuff.
logo. There's no more bird. It's just an X.
Half the stuff he posts is just nonsense, and then when I saw that, I was like, "What the heck is he
X
saying
Force,
now?
X Space, Space X.
Wait, no. I still got Twitter.
You haven't updated your app. I did it today. It's an X now.
It's an X.
It's some very silly stuff.
So you can't say that you're tweeting. What are you doing? Are you Xing?
Officially
I'm Zeeting.
done.
I'm seating.
Exceeding. I don't know what they're called anymore. It's all kind of dumb. Anyway, follow us on all the platforms. Go there. Let us know what you thought of Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. On the next episode of the Walt Vault, we are gonna switch gears and go from Marvel over to Lucasfilm and watch the very first Indiana Jones movie, Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Woo!
From back in the day in the 80s, 1983.
Hey, I still have it called Twitter though.
You haven't what?
Like it's still called Twitter, but the logo changed.
Yeah, I think he did the turnaround so fast that like they haven't even been able to keep up with the changes. Like I think they changed it from twitter.com to x.com, but the app still shows.
Did he fix
as
the news
Twitter.
at least?
I don't know. It's going down the tubes over there at Twitter.
Oh yeah, dude, it's bad.
Elon's just out here doing Elon.
He's just doing stuff. He's got all the money in the world, and he's using it to change the world for the better. Dummy. How about you donate money? What are you doing? There's so much better.
How about
uses
you like
of
save
your
a country
time.
or something?
Yeah. How about you end homelessness in America, you greedy. Anyway. Raiders of the
just
Lost Ark,
cannot.
1981. That's going to be our next film. It's on Disney Plus. All of the Indiana Jones films are on there. Eventually, we'll probably end up reviewing the new one, Dial of Destiny. But we're starting off with the OG Harrison Ford classic film, Raiders of the Lost Ark. So check us out. Make sure you're subscribed on whatever podcast platform you're listening on. We are on YouTube and Stitcher and iTunes and Spotify. We're on all the places. Go there, hit subscribe, leave a rating. That all helps the algorithm to find other like-minded Disney fans such as yourselves. We appreciate you, we love you, and we will see you next time for some indie goodness. The Vault is now closed.